After snorting the cocaine in the grimy alleyway, Julia wandered aimlessly through the vibrant chaos of New York. Her mind, a swirling vortex of fragmented thoughts, was consumed by Philip and the phantom woman. She conjured images of their Saturday night encounter in that Philadelphia hotel bar, each imagined detail a fresh stab of pain. The truth that the woman was a childhood friend met only annually remained unknown, leaving jealousy to fester unchecked. She walked on, head down, the sting of cocaine burning in her nostrils, mirroring the burning resentment in her heart. Passing couples, their arms intertwined, radiated a happiness that felt mocking. Disappointment, betrayal, and a profound loneliness clung to her like a shroud. Memories, unwanted and painful, resurfaced. Her mother's relentless criticism, the impossible standards set during those several hours of singing lessons in their sprawling country mansion. Would her life be different if her mother hadn't been so cruel, so perpetually dissatisfied? Would she be gracing the stages of world-renowned opera houses instead of belting out tunes in smoky Manhattan pubs? Would she still be chasing oblivion in a joint or in the fleeting high of a line of cocaine? Would she even need to? A man, momentarily resembling Philip, walked past, pulling Julia from her reverie. She stared after him, her heart lurching with a painful recognition that quickly dissolved into disappointment. The craving for something, for love, for validation, for simply not feeling this crushing emptiness, intensified. She found herself drawn to the pulsating beat of a popular club. The anonymity of the crowd offered a temporary refuge. She shed her outer layers in the cloakroom, leaving behind the drabness of her everyday attire for the fleeting confidence of jeans and a simple white top. Moving into the heart of the dance floor, she surrendered to the music. Her body swayed, a calculated seduction as she sang along. Her voice a husky whisper lost in the reverberating bass. Men circled, drawn to her magnetic energy, but she kept them at bay, accepting drinks with a fleeting smile before moving on, a restless spirit in search of something she couldn't define. After polishing off her third cocktail, her gaze landed on a man at the bar. He was strikingly handsome, his dark eyes fixed on her with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. He nursed a glass of whiskey, his posture radiating a quiet confidence. Julia, emboldened by the alcohol and the electric atmosphere, smiled, running a hand through her hair in a deliberate act of flirtation. The DJ dropped a chart-topping pop song, its infectious rhythm flooding the dance floor. The man didn't hesitate. He placed his empty glass on the bar and moved toward her. The world seemed to slow down. Julia danced with practiced ease, her movements fluid and provocative, her hips swaying to the beat. The man advanced with the measured grace of a predator stalking its prey. Reaching her, he leaned close, his voice a low rumble against her ear. "I'm David. What's your name?" Julia, still dancing, met his gaze with a playful smile. "Hi David, I'm Julia." He asked to join her, and Julia, gesturing with a sway of her hips, replied, "I think there's enough room for both of us." The other men, sensing the shift in power, retreated. They must have thought the alpha male had claimed his prize. They lowered their heads, accepting their defeat, and resumed their own pursuits, the thrill of the chase extinguished in them. They danced for several minutes, their bodies moving in sync with the music. David moved behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. Julia, responding to his touch, reached back and intertwined her fingers with his, feeling the press of his groin against her. But even in this moment of fleeting intimacy, the phantom of Philip, locked in an imagined embrace with a beautiful stranger, haunted her. A wave of raw, unadulterated pain washed over her. Turning to David, her voice husky with a mixture of desire and desperation, she asked, "Do you want to come up to my place?" He was accustomed to such offers, as another Chad, as effortlessly alluring as Philip used to be. They left the club, hailed a taxi, and gave Julia's address. In the cab they didn't talk. The driver spoke to David a few sentences. As the taxi pulled up to her building in central Harlem, a flicker of hesitation crossed David's face. He glanced around, the neighborhood looking considerably scary under the cloak of midnight. Julia led him up to her second-floor apartment. "Want a drink?" she asked, though her tone lacked enthusiasm. "Actually, all I have is a couple of beers." David just asked for water, then politely asked if he could light up a cigarette. After Julia said yes, he did that. Then he threw his Zippo lighter on the kitchen counter. Julia grabbed a beer, popping the top and taking a long swig from the bottle. The cumulative effects of the marijuana, alcohol, and cocaine were starting to catch up with her. This beer felt like the final nail in the coffin of her day. They slumped down on the couch in front of the television. Julia, struggling to keep her eyes open, turned to David. "So, dear David, what should I need to know about you?" David began. "Well, I work for a financial firm on Wall Street and—" He never finished his sentence. The beer slipped from Julia's hand, spilling onto the floor as she succumbed to exhaustion, falling asleep on the couch. David checked the girl's pulse just to be safe, then reassured himself that Julia was okay. She simply just fell into sleep, picked up the fallen beer bottle, and carried it into the kitchen. He returned to the living room, gently lifting Julia into his arms and carrying her to the bedroom. He went back to the living room, turning off the television. Then, he returned to the kitchen, poured a glass of tap water, and went back and placed it on the nightstand beside Julia. After a hesitant pause, he stepped back into the kitchen, put on his coat, and quietly let himself out of the flat. Julia continued to sleep soundly, oblivious to his departure, lost in a world of dreams as vivid and chaotic as her waking life. Perhaps, in her slumber, she even conjured Philip in the Philadelphia hotel room.